we go. Hey, buddy. So I have some bad news. We have to cut the treat budget this month. Yeah, we have to cut the treat budget this month. So there's a new card game that came out, and it's called Lorcana. It's by Disney. It's really cool, actually. And I wanted to get cards this weekend, but everything was about double the price, and so I went to my card store and spent double the amount on product. And when that store ran out of product, I had to drive about, I don't know, 20, 30 miles to another store, which, I had to pay, gas for that. So that was some more money out of pocket to get more stuff that was marked up in price. But, I had to have the cards now. That's just how this works. So, I hope you understand. I hope you understand. We got to cut the treat budget this month. Are you mad? He's not talking to me. Yeah, so, sorry. No, come on, don't be like that. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another InkSpot Gaming video, and the first official weekend of Lorcana has come and gone, and boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Just a quick disclaimer, if you're someone who's been around TCGs for a long time that I have, or have kind of seen this process develop as well, then this video isn't so much for you, but I still think this is a good discussion to have if you have been, so that you can also give your own insight on your experiences with launches like this one. But before we get into the actual discussion, I do want to talk about some positives. I don't want to completely bury this weekend, because I think a lot of good things did happen, but a lot of bad as well. First things first, I had a starter deck tournament at my local game store, and it was a lot of fun. There was a mixed bag of people there. There were people my age, a little older. There were some kids there, and what was really, really cool is a lot of the adults sort of helped the kids learn how to play the game, and they were helping them through picking up the game and playing through games and things like that. And coming from someone who's mainly in the Yu-Gi-Oh community, I play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh, you don't see a lot of that. So it was really, really cool seeing that in this tournament. Again, it was just for some packs. It was nothing too crazy. We were given a random starter deck, and be on the lookout, because I am gonna be posting a video with the starter deck I used, so stay in tune for that. But yeah, overall it was really fun. I personally didn't do very well performance wise. I don't think I made the best decisions, but you live and you learn. So, and it's been really cool seeing a lot of positive buzz around the gameplay itself. It seems like people are having a lot of fun with this game, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome to see. But we're here to mainly talk about the launch of this game, mainly the availability of product and the price of product that might have been available. Now, again, like I said before, for people who have been involved in card games before, especially who've been through some sketchy launches, you know how this works. You've seen this happen before, and this is nothing new. But one thing I could tell very quickly was who has not been through this before. There were a lot of confused people, who didn't really understand A, why they couldn't get product, and B, why the product was so expensive. So we kind of need to talk about why that was a problem in the first place. To make a long story short, when Ravensburger printed this game, it seems like they didn't really know what the demand would be, even though after seeing the reactions after the D23 convention and presentations, it seemed like there was a lot of hype around this game. So how you miscalculate the demand, I don't know. But nevertheless, it seems like they miscalculated the demand for this game and didn't really print enough product. And because of that, local game stores were either getting a very limited amount of product, if any at all. There was a game store not too far from me where, their shipment was canceled, or stores just weren't able to get product in the first place. And then the real issue happens where game stores that did get this product only had a limited supply. So what happens then? Supply and demand. The supply didn't meet the demand, which means that prices in most local game stores were marked up. Now, it is worth noting that August 18th was the release date just for hobby stores. The game is released sort of nationwide in major chains like Target or Walmart on September 1st. So by the time we get to that point, it'll probably be a lot easier to get cards. But again, people who are new to this kind of thing don't really realize that. So why did the cards cost so much? Well, first, how much did they cost? At my local game store, most of the prices were basically doubled. I believe the Lumineers Trove, which at MSRP is 50, was being charged for 100. Starter decks, which are like 15, 16, were being charged for 30. They weren't even selling booster boxes. And the gift set, I think, was like $50 or something like that. And there weren't any accessories either. And a lot of game stores around the country were charging these kinds of prices for this product. Now let's even look at TCG Player as of recording this, and prices even coming out of the weekend are still up. I'm not really so much paying attention to the singles because a lot of these will be a difference in pennies, and some of these more expensive ones will probably start going down again once this gets released to a more widespread market. But again, the starter decks, $32.99, $300 for a booster box. Again, about double the price of what a normal MSRP booster box would go for. Even if we look at accessories, these playmats that are supposed to be $20 are even being marked up at ridiculous prices. It's kind of unbelievable. So naturally, because of the either insane markup in prices or the lack of availability, there has been a lot of discourse among this growing community of, veteran TCG players, and this has brought in a lot of new card game players of many ages who just aren't used to this kind of thing, and it's just created a lot of discourse between the community in local game stores, the community in Ravensburger, and right now there's just a lot of negativity happening. And anywhere you look on any Lorcana subreddit or Lorcana Facebook group, there's just a lot of negativity behind what's going on here with the price gouging. All right, now it is worth noting that a local game store is well within its right to charge whatever they want for this product. MSRP isn't law. MSRP, the S in MSRP is suggested, and they don't have to sell it at that. No one is telling them you must sell it at this price. They're allowed to sell it for whatever they want. And the reason why they are selling, well, most of them, some are selling at MSRP, but the reason why they're selling them at such high prices is because, again, supply and demand. The supply doesn't meet the demand, and this is kind of the one window where these game stores can make as much money as they possibly can, and that is well within their right. They're allowed to do that, but I think the local game stores who are being very combative about criticism towards charging that much money need to understand that doing this isn't very player friendly, especially with a bunch of new players. Again, I'm not saying that they're not allowed to do it. I'm not saying they can't do it or they're doing anything fundamentally wrong. I just don't think it's very good for a young and growing community for a game that is in its infancy. And I just think that it just adds a lot of negativity to a weekend that was supposed to be more positive. Now again, I'm sure a lot of people had positive experiences, but unfortunately, there were probably a bunch of people who were priced out of being able to enjoy this game. And a lot of people will just say, well, just wait till September. Well, the problem is, and the one thing that bothers me, it does feel like that game stores were taking advantage of FOMO. People want this game, especially with how trading cards have gone the last couple years, mainly during the pandemic, where you couldn't find any on the shelves. It's created even more FOMO. And at the same time, I do think that people in the community need to be patient, but I don't think it's unreasonable to be mad at obnoxious markups. Again, markups that are double the price of MSRP. It's just not very player friendly, it's not community friendly, and you are just allowing people with the deepest pockets who are fortunate enough to afford all of this be the ones to experience the game. I don't think that's very fair at all, honestly. The main reason why I even got procced in the first place is because I had store credit and I traded in some other trading cards that I had. I wasn't going to spend double the amount on this product. I just didn't want to. I didn't think it was really worth it. Again, you can play this game on games like Pixelborn, but nothing beats playing this game in real life, the paper game in front of people. So what do we do about this? Is there anything we can do about this? How should the community sort of get through this time? Is it just a matter of get over it? Is it just a matter of, well, let's just continue debating about it until it gets better? Well, honestly, I think both sides need to sort of be understanding and patient with each other. For the player community of Lorcana and even the collector community of Lorcana, I think you need to understand that times are tough and local game stores already operate on a fine line between red and green in terms of profits and being able to stay open in the first place. I am all for supporting your local game store, but what the local game stores need to understand is that if you are marking these prices up so high, you're not only going to cause discourse in the community, you're going to make your store look bad, and I think you're not going to be in the good graces of a lot of people. I think it just doesn't make you look very good. Now, if you want to mark it up a little bit, that's fine. I think if the starter decks were marked up to $20 or even $25, I think that's a lot more reasonable. Or if the Trove was marked up to $75 maybe, I think that's much more reasonable. There would still be people upset about it, but it's not a double amount, which is just egregious in my opinion, honestly. So I think local game stores need to also be sensitive to the fact that this is, I just think, very damaging to the community as a whole. I don't think this has helped grow the game at all. I don't think this really was very positive for the game. Like I said before, instead of being positive and celebratory about the opening weekend of this game, which you still can be, a lot of people are feeling sort of negative or feeling like they're getting ripped off, and I just don't think that's a great way to start a player base, start a community for a new game. Alright, I think the infrastructure and the foundation of a new game is so important, and starting on a bad note like this just isn't a very good look. At least I don't think so. Again, like I said, I'm all for supporting your local game store, but I think it is also very fair to not spend money on product that is that highly marked up. In fact, I'm no financial advisor, but I would advise against it, because in a couple weeks, the product is going to be sold in major retailers at MSRP, and I don't think that game stores can be mad about this, because essentially what they're doing is driving players away to do that. I think if they were being more reasonable with their prices, more players would be more inclined to spend their money at the local game store. Now, I think at the end of the day, we also need to look at who runs the game, which is Ravensburger. And I just think that grossly underestimating the demand for this product kind of started your game off on the wrong foot. I think it put game stores in sort of an unwinnable position. It put players in a very unfortunate position for their wallets, and I think they also need to be taking responsibility for this. There was a quote somewhere again saying just not knowing what they could, there was no way they could have predicted what the demand would be. Well, it turns out that you were way off, and this needs to be fixed in future sets. We can't keep having releases like this. We need to make sure that cards get into the hands of players and that there isn't this crazy discourse between the players and local game stores that this lack of demand has caused. So I think Ravensburger needs to take responsibility for that as well. Again, like I said before, I would just wait until the cards come out and the prices go down. The prices will go down. It's not going to stay this high forever. I know it's going to be hard not having the physical card game, especially when like a lot of people are opening boxes and Illumineers troves and playing with starter decks. I know it's really, really difficult and it's really frustrating. But if you don't feel like it's worth buying these cards at the prices they're being sold at right now, then don't buy them. No one's forcing you to. And then if people keep doing that, eventually the price will go down. And again, I think if you are someone who runs a game store, I'm not someone who runs a business or anything like that, but I think we do need to look in the mirror here and understand that when people start flocking to Target and Walmart to get their product because you left a bad taste in their mouth by grossly marking up this product, then you can't be mad. You kind of did this to yourself, in my opinion. And Ravensburger, like I said before, need to make sure that this kind of release doesn't happen again, and that there is much more supply for game stores to sell and for buyers to buy. Like I said at the start of this video, there's a lot of positives. When people are actually playing the game and face to face and having a good time, I saw it. I was there. It was really, really good. And like I said in the previous video, I think this game will succeed, but the only way it will succeed is if the players come first and we are able to build this community up. And we can't do that if we don't have product, and we can't do that if product is grossly marked up. Again, not the best way to start out this game, but there was a lot of positive. I was there. I saw people having fun. I saw people helping out kids. I saw people being excited about this game. I taught my friend how to play the game today, and he said this is something he could get into. People are liking it so far, which is really, really, really good. But again, the cards need to be in the hands of players. It needs to be at a reasonable price, and the game stores can't be put in this position where they feel they need to mark up cards an obnoxious amount. So I know today's video was a little on the negative side. I hope we can get more positive as time goes on, but I feel like this needs to be discussed. I'm sure you have an opinion on this, so I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We continue to grow, which is really, really exciting to see. For more Lorcana content and discussion, come back here, subscribe to the channel, like all that stuff. That being said, I'll see you on the next one. Later.